A comfortable seat. And if you look at Janice, she's already in hero's pose. Being that today's topic is the feet, this is on lower limbs, I just said feet and legs. This is a great pose for knees, ankles. And I'll just start sideways. Sitting on a block, maybe a block and a blanket, and have the block wide so that both sits bones are well anchored. We don't put our ankles in their full extension a lot, so that over time begins to possibly create some issues. Now the other, so with that, one of the ways that we can support our ankles is take a blanket. And then when you sit in Virasana, simply let your getting their ankles drape off the edge. So now I'm not putting it in quite the acute extension that I do when I sit flat. As you begin to settle in, I'll turn so you can see me from the front again. 10 toenails, eagerly releasing down towards the floor. With the feet going straight back, so not sickling in. So notice if the foot is collapsing outward. Can you reach maybe a little bit more down through the pinky side of the foot so that you come to rest right at the top of the foot? Shins is what orients down towards the mat. So notice if your thighs are rolling in or out, come to orient the shins just so, straight down. And then thigh bones are parallel, but not consolidated. So it's not Virasana, thunderbolt, hero's pose, the seat of the strong, courageous hero. Feeling the sits bones anchoring well, and rock back and forth a little bit, like you're doing a teeny little cat-cow, but let it be a pelvic movement. And then come to sit right at the tip of your sits bone so that your pelvis, your basin is neutral, allowing the sacrum to rise up without having to accommodate either on L5, the last of the lumbar vertebrae. You should feel spaciousness in your low back. So that may even mean just a slight tucking. And I say that tucking very carefully because that can be overdone. But if you are jamming your low back, let there be a little bit more tailbone weight. From that, we begin to rise upward through the sternum, broadening the collarbones and lengthening up through the crown of the head. Diaphragmatic breathing is the breath that's associated with Mula Bandha, our root, lock, lift, engagement. So inviting the breath into your belly, but maintain the lifting of the sternum as you do so. The belly expands on the in-breath and relaxes back on the out-breath. Invite the breath down, not just to the belly button, but below the belly button. You can place a hand, so right above the pubic bone. Can you sense the breath this low as you breathe in and out? Just like we have the diaphragm that contracts and presses down as we breathe in. We have a pelvic diaphragm that mimics and mirrors the breathing diaphragm. So can you sense the pelvic floor having a gentle give as you breathe in, and then floats up as you breathe out? Softening on the in-breath, and then a slight engagement on the out-breath. Letting the breath be easy and conscious. The seed sound off the pelvis, off our root chakra, Muladhara is the name, is lam, lam. And I have these little mnemonic devices. So the lam, I think of loins, and there's my lam. When we want to connect to this, the right to be, the right to feel grounded, solid, steady, the earth energy, calling it out, whether out loud or silent. It sounds like this. Lam, 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 lam. I invite you to join me. Take a breath in. Lam, 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 lam. One more time. Lam, 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 lam. Returning to the breath. The color is red, the color of action. So when we feel stuck, ungrounded, working with this chakra helps create more mobility and ease. Let's inhale, draw the arms out and up. Interlace the fingers, draw the palms to the sky. And we will stretch to the right, to the center, to the left, back to center. Let's twist. Inhale, draw the arms up and go to the other side. Inhaling up. This time, hook the thumbs, spread the fingers wide. This is your wings, but let the chin soften down towards the chest. And just let there be a little resistance in the hands as you extend up, extend up, extend up. Side bending to the left. Inhaling up to the right. Inhaling up and release the arms down. With the diaphragmatic breathing, we're going to add a little shoulder event. So you can place your hands on your belly just so you know the belly is expanding. But next time you inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears, And then as you exhale, draw the shoulders down, pull the shoulders down. That's the exhalation. Let's inhale, shrug the shoulders up. That gives the upper traps. And then exhale, pull the shoulders down. It's a little bit like chewing gum, walking and humming at the same time. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, belly expands, shoulders pulls up. Exhale, belly towards the spine, shoulders down. And then pause. We're going to take the legs out in front. And shake the legs out. Being today is March 2nd. Can you believe that? March 2nd. Time to get the spring thoughts going. So let's take the right leg in and we'll tend to our seeds, our roots. Just rock the knee from side to side. So sit so you're comfortable. So I prefer to do this sitting down, and I'm sitting low and I'm just sort of leaning back. Then let's place the right foot across the left thigh. And let's take the fingers in between the toes, web to web for our ankle circles. Around and around we go. Both directions. And then let's pull the toes to the top, the bottom, back and forth so that our toe flexions are well maintained. And then wring it out. Wring the front of the foot from side to side. Getting all these bones. You all know how many there are. 26. 32 joints, that's a lot. That is our trampoline, right? Now let's squeeze the toes around the fingers, fingers around toes. Take your other hand and just apply gentle squeezing. So we're still practicing ahimsa. Take the top hand off, relax the toes, but traction your foot long, spread the fingers and remove. And then this little piggy, each toe get a little tuck and a roll. Now hold the toe next to it so they also get a little stretch. So we want to open up the space. Take the second toe, give that a little tuck and a roll, but hold the other three back. And then third toe gets a little tuck and a roll. And we love a little bit on each one while we are maintaining the space between the toes. The big toe, that gets the big job. So I'm going to grab that with my left hand and I'm going to tuck and pull and give it a good go around. Arthritis in the big toe is very common. And for your run-of-the-mill arthritis, movement is the best thing we can do. Now from here, take the hands on each side of the toe. So put on that narrow shoe. Compress and then roll. Again, breaking up that stiffness, tightness. Getting the bounce back in the trampoline. And last, let's take the thumbs to the bottom of the foot, walking up and down. Working on the fascia. Hydrating the fascia is really important because if this is stiff, well, everything else is stiff on the back. See, and grab the heel and give that a little extra wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And now bend your right leg, place the foot on the mat. So we're quickly going to do the calf too. Take the thumbs up behind the knee and then do the pinch and pull, pinch and pull, pinch and pull. Walking down, walking up, and then switch, travel behind the knee. And again, pinch and pull, grab and pull so that everything slides and glides. And then after that, relax your right leg out and just notice how you sit. Did it change how one leg orients, your sits bone orients to the ground? So these, I know this is kind of cool, isn't it? And if you do a little forward fold, you may notice it's like you can keep going on the right side, but the left, not so eager to follow. So I say, let's go. Take your left leg in, and we'll give that a little rock the baby, lubricating the hip joint. Place the foot across and thread the fingers in between. I gotta take my ring off on this one because that's uncomfortable. So our feet are often the first sign of stuff going on. So when we spend some quality time with our feet, let's do ankle circles clockwise and counterclockwise. We are able to detect that something else may be going on in our body. Draw the toes up and down, back and forth. And then let's twist the foot from side to side. Some of you have heard me share the story about one of my students. Her mom was having foot pain. And she went to the doctor, nothing to see, all was well, but she kept having this intense foot pain. Now let's squeeze, 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 squeeze. And finally, she ended up having an x-ray done. She had stepped on a needle that had gotten embedded in her foot, but it had closed off, so there's nothing to see. And so it's, long story short, pay attention to your feet. Got it out, she's fine now, but it's a story that stuck with me. Traction the foot long, traction the foot long. Spread the fingers and release. Take both hands, we're gonna separate the pinky toe away, give it a tuck and a pull. And tuck and a pull. I am so excited, sandal weather is coming. So my toes get to spread and enjoy the fresh air. I can always tell that my toes, my whole foot gets tighter in the winter when all in shoes. And then last, when you get to the big toe, that gets the big jog. Pull, roll. So bunions and hammer toes, claw toes, all of these affliction greatly affects our gait, and if it affects our gait, it affects everything else. Let's put them in the vise. So squeezing the hands on each side and roll so that we can get all of these bones to slide and glide, getting the bounce back in our trampoline. And then take your thumbs to the bottom and give your fascia at the bottom of the foot a little workout. A little workout. So you're giving yourself a little reflexology session here. If you find a place that's tender, then go to Dr. Google and learn more, because it is not my expertise, or seek out a certified practitioner. Grab the heel and give it a wiggle, 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 a waggle, waggle, waggle. And then we went to calf. Pinch and pull. Plantar fasciitis, another common foot ailment, often starts in the calf. Too tight. Now let's go in the other direction. Get in the hamstrings, well lubricated, sliding and gliding all the way down to the sits bones. That's the origins. And there we go. What do you think? We off to a good start? Let's come on to the back. Have your strap nearby. Make sure that I follow protocol here, this carefully planned class. So as you recline, as always, feel free to support the head. You'll draw the legs all the way together and just relax the arms out to the sides. Legs, create a unileg, and we'll start with ankle pumps. So here, the arms can be as high as you like, just have them comfortable. As you pump, 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 pump on the out breath, pausing as you breathe in, and pump, 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 pump again. Right, so now we get in the whole fascia back seam tended to. And we'll do that one more time. flexing and extension of the ankle, but it affects the whole body. And let's do ankle circles too, and feel how your whole body follows along. Moving on the out breath, pausing as you breathe in. Big juicy ankle circle with the feet following together so that you keep the big toes and inside of the big toe mount in contact as best as you can the whole time through. And then with the arms out to the sides now, we're going to go right into our straight leg twist. So I'm picking a little bit from the morning sequence. So place your right heel between the left big toe and second toe, and then twist to the left. You know this one. Inhaling back to center. And this also relates to the pressure point that we have on the neck of the big toe that refers to our necks. So this will also help release neck tension. Straight leg twist. We'll do 3 times on each side, moving into the twist on the out breath. Return to center on the in breath. And then pausing. Make it easy. Bend up the knees, bending up the knees. Don't use your hands, I'll prefaces. Pull your right knee into the chest and then stretch it out, point the toes, in, out. So we're gonna get the hip flex. Pull the knee to the chest and then kick it out, but point the toes. Back and forth. Get the hip flexors warmed up a little bit. And then take your strap. Take the strap around your right heel. Extend the left leg out. So I have a little loop in my strap. I prefer that for my hands. But again, I'm going to let you keep your arms and hands the way it is comfortable for you. So elbows bent or straight. And if the elbows are straight, the biceps do not get involved. If the biceps are not involved, neither is the neck or the jaw. So keeping all of that soft. The breath in, passive as you exhale. Now contract the right quadricep. Draw the knee down towards the hip as you reach up through the heel. And then let that go. And let's contract again. All the while pressing the left leg down, the left thigh presses down so the sacrum is neutral. And we'll do that one more time. Release the strap. And take the leg all the way down. Right side, left side. It all connects, right? Let's bend up the knees again and do our little pull in, kick out, in, out. It's like the roquettes, supine roquettes. Mobility is agility with ability. At least that's how I define it. So we're just taking through the ring here. Let's take the knee in and strap the foot. And we'll take it to the sky. Extend right leg out, but stay neutral on the sacrum and in the low back. The breath guides us. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, contract the left quadricep. Pull the kneecap down as you reach up through the heel. So we have opposing energy, movement in the leg. Let everything soften, relax as you breathe in, and then exhale, re-engage. Now ground your right leg firmly. And one more time. Unhook the strap, leg is still up. Keep the pelvis neutral. So that means Mula Bandha engages, pulls up as you slowly release the leg down. Keep the pelvis from traveling with the foot. Once the leg is down, let everything pull. Front hip groins. We'll bend up the knees. Roll over onto one side. And come into tabletop. In tabletop, as always, I invite you to slide a blanket under the knees if they are chatty. And move my blocks out of the way so they are not obstructing the view. Cat and cow, rounding as you exhale. Arch on the in-breath. Draw the tailbone towards the earth on the out-breath. Lift the tailbone and the sternum and chin on the in-breath. One more time, and let's come to neutral. Hands are shoulder width apart. Elbows dialing so that your inner elbow is looking at your thumb, not swinging forward. Slightly hyperextend, just dialing them in. That gets the biceps a little bit on board too. We'll take the right leg back. Take the right leg back. Toes are pressing down. And let's draw the heel towards the floor, inviting in a calf stretch. And as you press back through the heel, press the hands down, and then maybe let your left knee become floaty. Letting the left knee become floaty. So we can step the left leg back and take the right knee down. Reaching back through the left heel now for the calf string event. And then let's take the right knee, floats up as the belly pulls up, and then we step the right leg back. And downward facing dog. Lengthening back. Let the head hang. And if you would like to pedal your dog a little bit, I invite you to do it both slow and fast. We want access to both movements. The slower we do it, it goes a little deeper. When we move fast, it is more about joint flexibility. Let's lift up on the tiptoes. Lifting up on the tiptoes. Pull the knees to the hips. Pull the knees up to the hips. Now this is your toe off. We just worked on this part. You were in very high heels. Begin to descend the heels, but draw your spine longer as you do so. Pull the spine out long. And then look up on the inhalation. And exhale, let's walk or step the feet to the hands, hands to the feet, hands to the hips. And then inhale, let's press all the way up. Boom. How are we doing? So far, so good. Tadasana. That's what I was thinking. Mountain pose. It is the base for all our standing poses. Let's take a look. I really like practicing mountain with a block. And when it is leg week. And Mula Bandha week. So with the block just above the knees, bend the knees a wee bit. And looking down that your knees are tracking out over your second toes. We want happy knees. Now, as you exhale, ground your heels firmly, standing or straightening the legs. A sense of pulling the block up. And this way, could you tell that the pelvic floor engaged? The Mula Bandha. Let's do it one more time. Bend the knees. Everything just sags. And now, take a breath in and exhale. Root down through the heels and dig in your roots as you stand up. Firm around the block. Pelvic floor drawing upward. And the pelvis is neutral, not dipping forward. From here, we do what we did when we started seating. Lift the sternum up, lift the sternum up. So think back to last week, we held the strap in our feet. So imaginary strap, pulling the arms down, but the heart up. Arms down, fingers stretches down, but the heart lifts. Inhale, let's take the arms to the sky. Keep a close relationship with the block, reaching up. And then exhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana. Utkatasana. Squeezing the block, but reaching up. Keep the low back long, so notice if it's gotten crunchy, pull the belly in, pull the belly in. Inhale, pressing back into tall. And exhale, take the arms down. That went really well. We should do it again. Add a little bit of spice. Let's inhale the arms up. Now lift the heels. Lift the heels. Reaching up, bend the knees. Utkatasana. Squeeze the block. Big toe mount, little toe mount. Training, strengthening the ankles. Inhale, standing up tall, reaching up. And then keep the hands this high, at least in your mind, as you slowly descend the heels. Slowly descend the heels. Did you get a little taller? Exhaling the arms down. I think we can take this for a ride. Now, traveling to the back of your mat, watch. Use your bodies in different ways. Mula Bandha is part of our pelvic stability and our groundedness in our standing, seated, twists, in all the poses. I'll just say it that way. Tadasana again. Rooting down through the heels. Feel Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, so pelvis lifts. Belly lift, let's draw the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward, let the knees bend, letting the knees bend. Walk the hands forward to plank pose. Squeeze the block. Think of this as horizontal mountain pose, a horizontal mountain pose. Let's inhale, up dog. Keep the toes tucked under. And exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Bend the knees, don't impale yourself. Lift the arms forward, Utkatasana. First pose. Maybe take the arms up higher. Lift the heels again. Lift the heels again. Maybe sink down a little lower. Forward fold again. Don't face plant. Walk. Hands forward. We're back in plank. Inhaling, up dog. Squeeze the block. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Inhaling, knees bend, arms lift, back in Utkatasana. Heels are down now. Rooting the heels down, weight in the heels. Taking the arms up. And straighten all the way. Arms down. Whew. Let's take the block out and stand in mountain pose. Centered on the mat. Last week we did Warrior Two and a side angle pose, part of the Three Musketeers. So we'll use Warrior Two into triangle pose. Let's take the fingertips to heart center. And then jump, if no osteoporosis or osteopenia, or step. Feet wide apart. Let's take the hands to the hips, turn the right foot in, a mirror, left leg out, spine right in the middle. Exhale, bend your right knee, your left knee, and straighten. And look down at your left knee. Does it track right out over your second toe? This is the part that's not negotiable. Only two things about our knees. Don't let them weight bear all by themselves in front of an ankle. And let them traction right over the second toe. Warrior Two. Oh, we know this pose. And if you find that the knee extends out over the ankle, just creep the toes out a little bit further. Lengthen your stance. But hug that imaginary block between your legs. Keep hugging that block between the legs to create stability in the spine and your pose. Now straightening your left leg. Let's reach that over and take the hand to the shin. And the top arm, reach it up, but then take it to the hip. Just take it to the hip. So we'll take the arms out of it today. Now your bottom arm is on the shin. Let the shin press up into your palm. Let the shin press up into the palm. So we create a little bind. As your left sits bone continue to move back towards the right hip. Reaching it back, reaching it back. One more breath. Soften your left knee and then push up to center. Turn. Left leg in, right leg out. Let's add the arms. And then going in and out, bending, checking. As you exhale, does the knee traction down over the ankle. What's Warrior Two like today? As we practice the poses regularly, just like tapping our feet regularly, we notice if something is a little off. Now let's stay in Warrior Two. Muscle hugging around bone, squeezing the imaginary block, yet finding ease, not struggle in the pose. Let's straighten and Utthita, extend, reach, hand to the shin, and reach your left arm up just to get length, but then take the hand to the hip. Now your right shin presses up into your left hand, right hand, I'll get it, same side. How does it feel? Inviting your right sits bone to travel back, travel back. One more breath. And then soften the knee, pushing all the way out. Take the arms out to the sides. Again, on the out breath, either step or jump back in. Tadasana. Eagle. Taking the arms out to the side. Draw the right arm under the left. Stacking the elbows, I'll back up a little bit. And when the arms intertwined, so that can be the palms are touching, it can be the back of the hands, or it can be a hug. So I'm seeing of you what you were seeing of me, everything from chest down. Now draw the shoulder blades down. Gently, so not over pull. And then bow the chin towards the chest. Bowing the chin. Lifting the chin up. Now exhale, step the feet close together and bend the knees. Bending the knees. So you may choose to stay here. To test the waters, lift your right heel up. So now the left leg has to stabilize itself. As you might take the right foot across, crossing it over. Toes can stay down. They can lift. Sometimes it's shown twirling, but that puts a kind of a lot of pressure. But as you press the shins together or pull the thighs apart, you may find that your outer hips are getting a little spreading. Now let's take the legs back. Together. Release the arms out and up. Reaching up. And straighten the legs. Group the heels down. Lift up on the toes. Get as tall as you can. And then descend the heels. And then the arms. Pause. Pause and feel. Thank you, Janice. We should do the other side. Arms out to the sides. And then left arm twirls under. Lifting the elbows up as the shoulders draws down. So this is a really good computer break to take to for the neck as it draws the shoulder blades down so the upper trapezius are following. Bowing the chin towards the chest. Breathing. A sense of pulling the forearms apart, though they can't go because the elbows are right there. It becomes an eccentric stretch, strengthening and lengthening simultaneously. Now draw the gaze up, bend the knees. Legs are pressing together. And then testing the waters again. Lifting your left heel. And just see if that is okay with the knee. And then we can take it across. Toes can stay down for support. They can lift. As you pull your knees, it's going to feel like you're pulling them together, pressing them together. Pull the thighs apart, but your lower shins will get a little tighter. And breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So you're pluming your tail feathers a little bit here. Easy breath. I'm just watching. Y'all looking fine. So very fine. Let's take the leg back. Release the arms. Back in Tadasana. Lift the heels again. Slowly stand up. And then take the heels down, arms down. Tadasana. Mountain pose. Which of course is also where Virasana is born. I like to start in kickstand. So let's take your left heel, left foot, and spin it up. I'm going to start with the hands on the hips, because that way we know if we are becoming Marilyn Monroe-ish. So keep your right hip hugging towards center line. Lifting your left toes. It's a very easy little tree. Legs, glutes on the job, especially on your right leg. Toes can always come down. So we have to create stability before we can create easy balance. Let's take the toes down, check out the other side. Shake it out if it got a little crampy. And we'll turn. The star play is your left leg. So big toe mount, little toe mount, inner and outer heel. Really get these four corners well established, and then bore your left heel down. Can you feel your outer tush engaging? Gluteus medius is one of your main hip stabilizers. Gluteus maximus is propulsion, but medius, stability. Maybe lift the toes again. It's like a little Captain Morgan. Make sure that your hip stays really on the job, the standing hip. Because that's where the magic is happening. That's where we begin to create the long-term strength for stability. We'll take the toes down and take it back. Mountain pose. Yeah. So good. Now let's do it again. This time, right leg, star player. Hip is in. So notice this one. This one. Now I invite you to maybe take the heel below the knee, or take the toes above. So there are lots of different ways to practice this pose depending on what it is we want to practice. If we want to practice stability and strength, but our balance is a little off, then find a wall, use the wall. Powerful, standing leg, powerful, strong. Maybe take the arms to the sky. Be a big tree. My tree is in a windy forest today. We'll take the arms down and release down. Shake it out. Let's see what happens on the other side. Get your standing leg, that's the foundation of your structure on the job. And then we can play with where we want to put the trapeze artist. Maybe heel below, maybe toes above. And again, a wall is great when we want to practice the inherent strength available in this pose, which is why it's part of the osteoporosis sequence. Now, if you want to practice the balance aspect, then practicing the kickstand instead. Four corners, grounding. Standing leg presses into the foot. If it's up, foot presses into the leg. And then we extend, and we extend, and we extend, and we take the arms down and release the leg down. Shake it out. Let's step to the back of the mat one more time. Nice inhale, take the arms out and up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's come forward to plank pose. To downward facing dog. Step your feet as wide as the mat and then become a little pigeon-toed here. Pigeon-toed, so the heels are pulling out and then you draw the hips back. Letting the sacrum widen. Breathing. And then let the feet become aligned. We're going to take the knees down. And let's come onto our back body. No class without bridge. It's like downward facing dog. I would feel like I'm cheating you, for sure. But let's make bridge a little, I'm not going to say more interesting, but take your strap. And then take the strap around the front of your ankles, hold the hands. So instead of being Setubandha, Sarvangasana, it becomes Chatush Tadasana, or 8-limb pose. You can hold the ankles with your hands, but for me, I find that is not comfortable. Lift and spread the toes, so the four corners, big toe mount, outer heel, inner heel, pinky toe. Keep that in mind as you slowly release the toes to the floor. And then press into these four corners to lift the hips, lift the hips. So the caveat with holding the shins with the hands is that the knees overshoots the ankles. And we know that's the nay rule. So in your mind's eye, because that is a really deep back bend. I'm having a look-see, which is why the strap is beneficial. So with the leverage of the strap, the shoulders are drawing under. And slowly on the next out breath, releasing down, releasing down. Remember, don't turn the heads in this pose. Once down, once down. Just roll your head gently from side to side. And if your spine would like, A lengthening in the lumbar, hugging the knees in before Shavasana. Rocking from side to side, but letting the head just rest down. And then give the legs a big squeeze in. Now everything tight, 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 tight before you release the legs out long. Take a moment and scan your body. Relaxing the legs so that they are placed evenly. Relax your feet, your ankles, and your knees. Relax the hips. Relax the low back. Relax the shoulders. And then maybe take your hand to your head and just lengthen the skull back, allowing the chin to orient towards the chest. Relaxing the arms. Return to the belly breathing. Feel the belly expand on the in-breath. Softening down on the out-breath. Feel the expansion expanding so that it moves down into the hips and the legs, a sense of everything moving outward slightly on the in-breath and then contracting on the out-breath. Expansion and contraction. The rhythm that we live with and by. It's easy, effortless. And now let your breath gently deepen. Maybe wiggling toes, your root, your fingers, your leaves, branches. Bend up your knees. Rock the knees gently from side to side. Rolling all the way over onto your right or left side. And then with the aid of your arms and hands, pressing into the floor. Coming up, just take your time, but eventually traveling into a comfortable seated posture. Bringing the palms together. And I invite you to join me as we close with Om Shanti 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 Om, the prayer for peace in our world, in our lives, and in our hearts. As peace is what goes first when we feel ungrounded, when we feel unsafe. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti 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 Om. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart, towards your being, your roots. Feel the strength inherent within. And inhale, take that up. Namaste. And please unmute yourself.